Meteorologist Casey Cloud back with you here on this Monday afternoon, popping in because we have some weak rotation on an area here of some severe potential with the accent in towards southeastern Georgia. Severe thunderstorm warning just coming out here toward parts of Brantley and Pierce counties in our area until 3:15, also including a little bit, areas outside of our region as well. So we'll have to monitor, as we're looking a little bit there as we get in toward areas there outside the viewing circle. I mean, as I go ahead real quick and say you have parts of Wayne County and parts of Appling County. It's more so Wayne than Appling underneath this severe warning outside the area, but we're focused on Brantley and Pierce, some weak rotation. It already had some winds to about 51 miles an hour there in toward the Waycross area at about 2:30 this afternoon. So, getting that information in, there is a tornado possible tag on. This is where we had to really jump in. Some weak rotation, along this, some of this outside of the area, some of it's in the area though, around Patterson to Offerman. So be ready. A tornado could develop with little or no advance warning. Now we're just getting word here of a severe thunderstorm warning toward the south now. Okay, so this is for Tallahassee and the metro. It's just popped up here in the last few moments. Let's see if FSU has to send out an alert about this as this is popping on up here. At 2:51, the warning came out. Northwestern Jefferson, Eastern Leon counties at 2:50 p.m. Severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from 6 miles east of Tallahassee near Tallahassee State College, moving east at 15 miles an hour. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, penny-sized hail possibility. Tallahassee, Monticello, Tallahassee State College, Florida State University, FAMU, Doak Campbell Stadium, Lake Bradford, the Gaither Community Center, Tallahassee Memorial Hospital, Walker Ford Community Center, Miccosukee, South City, Griffin Heights, as well as Drifton there, Tallahassee Airport, Governor Square Mall, Midtown, Lake Miccosukee there, Appalachia Ridge Estates, and Levy Park. They're all under this warning. So, again, watching that potential there as well. I know FSU just sending an alert about this out here recently, and let me go ahead and read that to you. It sent it out 2 minutes ago. It said a thunderstorm warning has been issued for the FSU Tallahassee campus. Stay inside. If caught outside, take shelter in a sturdy enclosed building or hardtop automobile immediately. Avoid open spaces, isolated objects, high ground, and metallic objects. So, again, severe thunderstorm warning being issued. Quite honestly, lightning threats still exist there around campus, no doubt. But as I zoom on in here, you see some lightning nearby. The worst of the winds are likely more on this leading edge here, but the lightning threat still persists, but it's already been around here the last little bit, so that's just the way it goes sometimes. The heavy advisory in play, we warned you guys earlier whenever thunder roars go indoors, but you see some storm action down toward Crawfordville and McCulloch County, quite a bit of lightning down there. Sometimes I have to take the lightning off, quite honestly, to be able to see what the storms look like here on velocity a little bit better though, but again, just continuing to give you guys the very latest on what's happening here, obviously. Just trying to keep you guys up to date here. Up to date on the situation. I know I have an advisory here southeast of this warning in Georgia that we were talking about. And it looks like some wind enhancement there toward, let's see here, Baker and Mitchell County line. Winds of 40 to 50 down there. Not so much in that warning anymore, but let me take the closer radar. Yeah, that looks pretty nasty there. Southwest of Newton. Let's go back to what we jumped in originally here. The severe thunderstorm warning, indicates there is some rotation here as well. So we're seeing on the Doppler algorithms that tornado possible tag. Brantley, Pearson area, Wayne, and Appling outside of the area. There's quite a bit of Wayne in this. That's not in our area. And then you have a little bit of Appling in here. They look real carefully. But then Pierce and Brantley is mainly about Pierce County in our area. But a little bit of Brantley could be clipped here as well. So again, we got to pay attention to that. We got quite a bit going on here. To look toward Tallahassee. East side of town, we have this warning to 3:30 now. Moving east at only 15, so that's going to produce a good bit of rain potentially in toward that area. Let me go ahead and get some traffic cameras up in that region if we can. As the situation does transpire. Let me go ahead and look at some of these different cameras. We'll take you over to Mahan Drive and Weems Road, east side of town there. As we go ahead and keep looking at things, keep tracking them. Definitely some wet conditions there as we have that new severe thunderstorm warning. We had the one pop up in Georgia with the rotation. That's why we jumped in. We had another warning right after pop up for Tallahassee. We had been concerned about both of those areas when we were on earlier on, but the Tallahassee area especially, and it strengthened enough to prompt for a warning. They may have had some type of report even to trigger that. I'm not really sure, but going through all these popular areas in Tallahassee, there might have been some type of observation that triggered that warning to have to be issued here. So I don't know, maybe just some type of, just indication there even. In some of the radar patterns, they could have seen something like that too, but could have been observation on the camera, could have been a wind observation actually measured, or it could have been just a radar pattern, or a combination of all three. That's, the storyline there. As we continue to give you the latest. They just dropped the warning to Tallahassee up to the north for now and toward southwest Georgia than when we reported on our last update. But this area here might be about to get a warning. That's in far western parts of Mitchell County. I see earlier in Alabama they had a gust of 66 miles an hour. Reported Houston County, Alabama at 2:35 this afternoon, apparently. It might have been, let's check the timestamp. That might have been, they might have not done the conversion on that. It might have been 1:35 actually. Probably was 1:35 Eastern. To be 12:35 Central, but you get the idea. Again, continuing to give you the latest. Again, may get a warning up here pretty soon. Let me check the power outage numbers on Tallahassee. That's another thing they could have been using to issue that warning. Let me go ahead and look here. Some of that information. To the City of Tallahassee outage website. Okay, only 32 customers so far in it. That's not too crazy. I have to continue to watch the trends though. Okay, so this like that we're down to one warning because they just dropped a warning up here. They canceled it. There's a boundary in here. Radar coverage is kind of lacking because of what happened with the Moody radar going down. And we have some wind enhancement here moving toward Folkestone. We need to watch that. There's a boundary in play there. I got to make sure start getting some spin on that. But what I do see here, and I need to load all the frames in between. Bear with me. that may end up cooling things off out ahead a little and weakening some of this. We shall see, but sometimes the storms get entrained on the boundary, they can also start turning because the wind's turning. So that's a storyline there as well. Just always got to watch for that. Okay, so around Tallahassee, seeing some winds here, 40, 50 miles an hour at about 400 feet. Northeast side of town, really. Moving up toward I-10, look at weak rotation, be it just a downburst signature popping up there. Just looking at some stuff there in Georgia. Looking more like 50 mile an hour winds at the moment. Continue to check all the different scans. That rotates in there, and that may just be, it could be partly the angle and the like, but in Wayne County, that's, the issue. That's out of our area now. It could try to clip back into northwestern Glenn, which is our area eventually. It'll be close. I may get more than a McIntosh. Be close. Be a close call. As we go ahead and keep looking. This is kind of what we're staying on at the moment. Northeast parts of Tallahassee, moving up toward I-10. That wind enhancement, I know sometimes we'll come on for one thing and have to end up talking about something else more than anything. It's just how it is. 52, 51 miles an hour, 54 south of Newton, west of Camilla. See if that ends up getting a warning. But even if you don't have a warning, you could still have some strong thunderstorm acts, and that can cause damage and or injury. Lightning, whenever thunder roars, go indoors, even if it's just, not even a strong thunderstorm. One lightning strike, clouded ground, can be deadly. Not good. Got to be very mindful of all that, obviously. I know watching this wind here, northeast Tallahassee, 35 and 12. When you add them together, that's closer to about 50 miles an hour, maybe just under that. It's right there around US 90. We're going to try to get some traffic cameras up in that area if we can. We'll go to Mahan Drive and Walden Road. Florida 5-1 perspective. Pretty nasty conditions. Let's take you toward the interstate itself. And I know the time's going to be an hour off. Just ignore that. It's 3:05, not 2:05. Definitely some wet roads there. Windy at times. Kind of on the back side of some of that heavier rain in a way, but it's kind of interesting. Just looking at all the different storms. Still watching Mitchell County. Still watching this stuff in like Charlton County as well. Though, you know, that boundary out ahead may end up being, you know, something that weakens some of that a little. Cool air possibly trying to be pushed out, or there's different boundaries involved, and if he's getting trained on that, and it could actually help strengthen. But I don't think that's what's happening down there necessarily. Again, trying to keep you up to date. Whether you're watching, you know, on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I see a comment from earlier. I didn't see it earlier on, but Nicole, thanks so much for watching. So yeah, we're watching the scans here. I'm not that impressed by this. It still could produce some gusty winds down to the surface. On I-10, 40, 50, I doubt we'll see, you know, something, maybe it's an isolated pocket that gets to 60, but I don't think it'd be widespread with that. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for now then. But as we've already done so far, you know, we already had to jump back with another live stream after our first. It's definitely possible we could end up having a third live stream later on this afternoon, or, you know, could end up being later on, even in the night, depending on how things set up further from the west. But a little hail signature accent popping up near folks, and let's check this out first. You know, sometimes we start to wrap it and we see something else we need to talk about. So the wind isn't all that crazy with that, but it could be some type of strengthening that's trying to take place there. Definitely think there's some small hail around, folks, and if nothing else. So we look at that area. Let me back it up. In the last few scans, showing some strengthening. We'll watch it. Not the, you know, most favorable environment there, you know, for that compared to winds would be more likely. But gotta watch, gotta track. Okay, so we're watching that. New warning, okay, further back toward the west now, around Camilla. Let me go ahead and check that. That goes to 4 o'clock. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, a possibility there. Radar indicated Baker, Colquitt, Doherty, Mitchell, and Worth in Georgia. That's until 4. It does not include Albany proper, but it includes areas like Camilla, like Newton, Sylvester, Putney, Baconton, Doran, Marine Corps Logistics Base Area, Sales City, Bridgeboro, Benton, Flint, Scooterville, Sylvester Airport, Anderson City, Tempe, Parkerville, Red Rock, Akery, and Leicester. So just continuing to watch all that. Continuing to track all that, obviously. Let's put lightning on. Different modes. See all that electrical energy. Seeing some pixels to about 50 miles an hour on the wind. Here in northeast of Tallahassee, I'm only seeing winds of about maybe 40 on there at this point. Gotta keep watching. The Folkestone area looks a tad weaker maybe on the signature there. So gotta watch. We have 2 warnings right now. Big Bend area, Florida, and South Georgia as well. And in this area, we're watching to see if it needs a warning towards southeast Georgia. Okay, they're continuing to warning to 3:30 for portions of Leon and Jefferson. I'm talking about the Weather Service in Tallahassee. See what we got here with this. Latest update, still for portions of Jefferson and Leon. So 3:30, the bottom of the hour, at 3:12. So the thunderstorms are located along the line extending from 12 miles west of Monticello to Florida A&M, going east at 15 miles an hour. Honestly, I think it's a little bit further east than that. But Tallahassee, Monticello, Appalachia Regional Park there, Miccosukee Road, Greenway, over toward, looks like the, let's see here, Lloyd area. So you kind of get the idea. Just continuing to track all this here in the Weather Center. Let me check some of the power added numbers. Only seeing 44 customers in the dark right now in Leon County according to PowerAd.us. But it looks like City of Tallahassee actually is now showing 1,048 customers there without electricity. So a lot of those right there northeast side of town are on Mahan Drive. So US 90 area. So maybe some strengthening as it was leaving town there. I'm just not seeing a whole bunch with it right now, though. Of course, the Moody Radar is down, so when I click on it, it's going to see the old stuff. So let's go to the Fort Rucker / Fort Novasil. 50+ winds on this. That warning goes to 4 o'clock. Portions of Baker, Colquitt, Doherty, Mitchell, and Worth. 60-mile-an-hour gust of possibility. So some damage to roofside and trees not out of the question. Just continuing to give you the latest here. Just checking some sources. Still a lot of instability in spots, but some areas are cooler now with the rain that's come through. It's a long way off still, but Tipton will have to watch this storm eventually in South Georgia. Moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. An hour away from them, give or take, in Tipton County. It's a broadening view. I know there's some national severe weather concerns today, so there's some watches toward like Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and then also New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. Locally, we have a rest that goes, all the way up. I mean, you see how far north it goes, and they will come back over, but we're right on the periphery here, but really seeing things be, especially in that 1 o'clock hour, be very nasty. Into South Central Georgia, knocking out several thousand folks there in terms of their electricity. So, not good. Never good when several thousand folks lose electricity like that. Several thousand electric customers. So, more than one per household sometimes. Even more. Boy, pumping that number up there a little bit. There's this warning again east of Tallahassee. We have the warning in southwest Georgia. Let's look around Albany. There's no warning there, but a lot of lightning whenever thunder roars go indoors is very important. So warm further to the east. We're at 91 here east to start, but 93 Keystone, 95 Gainesville. Looks like we're getting some development here. Some pop-up acts and getting going pretty quickly in this environment. So we'll have to watch that as well. We'll pop back in as needed, obviously, for the storms. If we don't need to, pop back in, we'll post updates, as and if new warnings are issued there, but they're not necessarily warranting me to come on. They'll be on Facebook there, Casey Cloud Reacts Cloud Weather on Facebook, and then also Twitter//CloudCasey. So keep it tuned to Cloud Weather. I'll be back on here as the conditions warrant. Stay tuned, everybody. Stay safe on this Monday, on this June 9th here, 2025.